Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to this week. And boy, what a week it's been. We got a war going on. It it seemed well, I gotta say, this weekend's been calm. For a war, it's been calm. No new surprises. And that's kind of what I was mentioning the other day. If we have no new surprises this weekend, we got a chance. We got a chance of seeing a little bit of stability coming back to the market this week. So that's what I'm hoping for. We'll talk, of course, more about it. We're going to talk a little bit about the war. I want to talk as well about oil. So one of the questions that was raised last week, and I think it was Lisa maybe who brought it up, is why have the Canadian oil sector, why are we still kind of struggling a little bit this week when WTI is, pushing up to 90? So what's going on there? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'll give you a hint. WTI is West Texas Intermediate, and that's not what we sell our oil on. We actually sell our oil as Western Canadian Select. And unfortunately, Western Canadian Select did not explode the way Western Texas WTI did. So right now, the last update I have, at least on the oilprice.com, is Western Canadian Select. Right now, it's priced in at $68.66. So we do sell it at a discount, of course. But we could, and this is a could, depending on what happens to WTI. If WTI keeps going up, we probably will see some kind of a leg into the Canadian market. And we'll probably will see Western Canadian Select start to move up a little bit. I'm hoping. The other thing I wanted to quickly mention is we're going to talk a tiny bit about the Blossom. So I mentioned it the other day, guys. There's currently a little bit of a March Madness going on over there with the ambassadors on Blossom. So they've basically broken us all up into little divisions. I'm in the small person division, and that's fine. That's fine. My channel's not big compared to some of the giants that we have in the sector, but I want to make a point. I want to win my division. And right now, basically we get points every time somebody uses our referral code, goes over, downloads the Blossom, we get a point. Right now I'm sitting at 2. I'm sitting at 2 points. The leader in the division is sitting at 7. So we're within striking distance. So if you have not yet tried Blossom, holy banana bread, get over there, do it right away. Do it after the chat. Do it after the show. I'm going to drop that link there in the chat. Feel free feel free to message me once you get over there. Definitely follow me and I'll tell you why. Well, here, let me show you why. Actually, here, I want to be on this side. Let's bring up Blossom. So when I go to Blossom, and this is the reason, I don't normally look at this feed. This is the main feed in Blossom. So Blossom, of course, is a social media app. It's all about the investors. So a lot of different conversations there. And it's definitely cool. But here's what I do. I don't go here. I go to here. And the reason I go to my notifications is because I'll get a notification if you follow me and I follow you back, and I will follow you back. Oh, look, Helen just followed me. Hello, Helen. And here's Luke. Actually, Luke messaged me earlier today. So Luke just got set up, and now I'm following Luke back. But I go through here, and I go looking for a couple of things. First of all, I go through here. Oh, Marie-Helene followed me. Okay. I go through this list, first of all, to follow people back, and secondly, to see what's going on. Now, if you were over on Blossom, and this goes to the people who already have Blossom, if you want me to maybe respond, or if you want a better chance of me responding, throw my name in. So, for example, here, a Can-Free mentioned me the other day, actually 21 hours ago. So this here was in, oh, and I like this. I love this. So Momentum Finance, he posted this comment about coffee chat with a blossomer. So just for fun, if you could spend 1 hour over coffee with any fellow blossomer, who would it be and why? Well, Nicole, I love this. Let's see, where is Nicole? Nicole came in and said me. So I'm like it. I'm loving it. So yes, she says, I enjoy our YouTube channel and think our shared love of laughing goats and banana bread would make us become good friends. There we go. Awesome, Nicole. Thank you very much. And of course, I replied. Of course, I'm going to reply to that. I have to reply to that. But that's one way to make sure that I see what you're doing, because I may miss you in my feed because I do follow a lot of people and a lot of people follow me. But if you really want me to see it, just throw the @Mountain Finance in there and it shows up. Well, it shows up right here. Like I said, it shows up on my mentions. And my second mention here was Mega Warrior. This I thought was interesting. A Mega Warrior basically just broke down my entire video. It's like, it's almost like Peanut, that's Mega Warrior, Peanut, has access to the script because they broke everything down. They broke down all the yields, every single ETF that was brought up in the video. So fantastic. Of course, I had to jump in on that one too. So it is a lot of fun over here, guys. Definitely get your butts over to Blossom. And like I said, follow me. I'm going to follow you right back. I can't wait. We'll have some conversations for sure. Feel free. And guys, feel free to direct message me. I know it says I have got 8 unanswered, but I've looked at them. I don't know why. I think unless sometimes somebody will say something that doesn't really require a reply, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I'll look at those. I'm gonna look at those, guys. Oh boy, I feel like a slacker. But what can I say? What can I say? All right. Whew, let's go big. Let's get to the chat, because we don't have like a big whole bunch of rigmarole to go through today. Let's see. We are starting with Jonathan. Am I late for World War III? Oops, I mean major combat operations. No. Actually, today, the only real strange kind of news in the weekend over the war is Britain. Britain said they were like, yeah, we'll send a carrier over. We'll help. And Trump pretty much said, nope, we don't need your help. We pretty much have already won this. So I don't know what that means. Is that Trump's ego? I don't know. Lisa in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. And Bismarcky says, good afternoon, everyone. And here's Prairie saying, good afternoon, community. Happy Sunday. Beautiful, sunny, and balmy, 3 degrees Celsius in Winnipeg today. So yes, today right now it's 5 degrees. But here's the good news for Ottawa. Tomorrow it's going up to 13. So we're going to get 13 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be warm on Tuesday as well. And then we're going to get some freezing rain on Wednesday. But then it's going to turn into rain and get warm. So welcome spring. Welcome spring. Oh, and of course, last night, guys, the time change. Now, I've been training myself. So I've been forcing myself just to get up a little bit earlier each morning this past week, and it worked. So this morning, I normally get up at about 6:30 in the morning. Yeah, I woke up at 6:30, and it was great. Got up, jumped in the shower, and got the day going. All right, Rory says, afternoon. We have wind warnings for up to 90 kilometers today. Oh boy, that's pretty fast. Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of the time change, this will be the last part about the time change. You guys in BC, this is your last time change. Your last time change. You're now on fixed time. That is really cool. The rest of us are jealous of you. Well, except for Saskatchewan. But the rest of us are definitely jealous. Mario says, good afternoon, everyone. And we have Niece in the house with a hey. Hopes you all had a nice weekend. So far, so good. Hopefully everything is going well over there in Sweden. Bleak says, hey all. And King of Day says, hello everyone, happy Sunday. Unexpected snow in Calgary. Yikes. Calgary, I think, is one of those cities that you can quite literally have snow any month of the year. It's just one of those cities. Luke. There we go. Luke. I was just talking about Luke. I just followed Luke back over on Blossom. Just came in from the garden, mowed the lawn, and deadheaded my daffodils. Tulips are almost blooming. Nice. Scott says, happy International Women's Day. Is it International Women? I don't know. I haven't been paying a lot of attention today, but hey, why not? Rory says, be interesting to see what oil Bitcoin futures do tonight. Yeah. Well, Bitcoin was sliding a little bit today. I don't know if it's changed. I haven't looked at it this afternoon, but hold on. Let's zip over here. There we go. Bitcoin. Here we are. Yeah. So right now we're sitting at 67,127. So yeah, it's kind of, well, it's actually kind of consolidating, I guess, going sideways. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes tomorrow, for sure. Luke says, seeking serenity in the garden because the market is stressing me out. Fair enough. Fair enough. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of serenity in the garden for sure. Let's see. A said, good afternoon, Candace. Well, hello. And Lance is here with a good afternoon. And we got Patricia in the house. Hey, Patricia. All right. And Luke says, finished accumulating Propel Holding shares for my swing trade. Average price, $20.75. Earnings report in 8 weeks, hoping to swing to $24 by June. 5% div while I wait. Yeah, there we go. You see, and that's a very long-term swing, but there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, Rory saying Western Canada Select Crude is at 68 compared to Brent at 92. Yeah, and guys, here, let me actually grab this. I'm going to bring this right over. This here is oilprice.com. So if you're ever curious about all of the oil prices, now it will tell you when it was last updated. So you got to always take that into consideration. But here you go, WTI crude 90.90. Brent crude 92. Merban crude 103. There's the expensive stuff. The natural gas, gasoline, heating oil. It's got everything in here. Here's Western Canadian Select down here at 68. Down here at 68. So can I actually click on that? Oh, I can click on it. I can bring it up over here, I guess. There we are. There we are. So it is climbing, guys. So it is climbing. But, you know, we just didn't see that big explosive growth. And there were other factors as well. Obviously, there's a little bit of concern, and there was a little bit of profit taking. I just felt something, a big truck, I think, drove by because I could feel a little bit of shaking in the room. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Not an earthquake, though, guys. It was just a truck, just to be clear. But yeah, so this is a neat little site if you ever want to if you're ever just curious, like maybe you woke up one day and you say, how much is Dutch natural gas? Well, $16.65 a barrel. There we go. Paul, ISBG ETF and USD, ISBG income, STKD, 1x Bitcoin and 1x gold premium ETF, 19.5% yield. Awesome. Paul said, good afternoon. A says, how high do you think oil can go? HOD is pretty close to $2. Yes. So HOD, that's a inverse oil ETF. So definitely, they're definitely down, of course. It's going to depend on a few things. Like right now, there's one alarming thing in this war is Iran, and not just Iran, but there's been attacks on oil facilities. So I think, actually, I don't know if it was Israel or the U.S., but one of them hit a major storage site for Iran. So there's oil on fire. If that continues to be a trend, that could disrupt things even more. So can oil go to $100 a barrel? Yeah, it probably will. Unless things start to get a little bit better this coming week, I anticipate oil probably getting to $100 by the end of the week. And we're talking WTI, not Western Canadian Select. That we might be able to get Western Canadian Select to, maybe we can get that to $75 by the end of the week if we're lucky. Well, not that. No, that's if we're unlucky. Let's just put it that way, because I want this war to end. I mean, because I don't mind making money, but this is the type of war that can get messy, and it can devolve into more stuff. I mean, the first comment of the day was Jonathan asking about World War III, and I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to a world war. You know. Lance says, I found some royalties the other day. Have you checked any of these out yet? NRC, URC, EMPR, and LIRC are the new ones that I've come across recently. All right, well, we'll take a look at each of these. Why not? We're here. Let's do it. I just need to get two. Nope, let's close that. It's when I have too many windows open, I can't see what the tabs are. All right. So yeah, I've seen a few of these, of course. So NRC, first of all, this here is your Nations Royalty Corp. This one, I don't think I've seen this one before. I can tell you right now, looking at this. So Nations Royalty. All right. What do they do? Okay. Oh, look at this. It's First Nations and Indigenous groups across Canada royalty. All right. Cool. I like that. What royalties are they holding? Let's see. Nations royalties missions includes capacity building of Indigenous people in public companies and capital markets. Wait a minute. Oh, yes. I remember back when we used to do the news on the weekend show. Do you remember there was going to be that thing that was set up for First Nations? And I think Scotiabank was going to help them get it all set up. I think, now if I'm right, then this is fairly new. Like this is like probably less than a year old. But let's find out. Okay, I'm wrong. Oh, no. This is probably it. Because I know it wouldn't be that old. So yeah, interesting. All right. So I don't see any dividend there, but now if I go to the key data, that'll tell me. Yeah, so they don't have a dividend on it yet, but yeah, that's exactly what that is. All right. I like that one. All right. Now EMPR, let's just move along here. Empress Royalty Corporation. I do not know this one. And it's probably because it's in that penny stock range. It's in that penny stock range, but look at this. They're moving in the right direction, that's for sure. They've gone from 30 cents to $1 and $1 and a dime. And they do not seem to have a dividend at all yet. Let's see, what is this? Royalty streaming, gold and silver. Oh, I like this. This is kind of in that same avenue as fish. So yeah, very interesting. This one could be interesting to watch for sure. It's still risky because it is in that area for sure. Oh, I missed URC. That's I think isn't that a uranium one? Yeah, Uranium Royalty Corporation. So yeah, I'm familiar with this one. So this is your chance to get some uranium, and I think this one doesn't have a dividend either. But yeah, when you pull it up, you can see it moves it's volatile, kind of a lot like uranium. And finally, you have LIRC. LIRC, here we go. Lithium royalty, yes. And I have heard of this one too. I'm not huge on lithium, to be honest. And I'll tell you, it's not that I don't like it. I think lithium's an important material, but I really think that some of the technology, where it's moving, it could see a situation where lithium becomes less important. We're not there yet, but that is something that always concerns me when it comes to lithium. So right now, though, lithium, yeah, they're still doing pretty good. And they're still like, quite literally, it might even be 10 years before lithium gets sort of replaced by a lot of the newer technologies. But nonetheless, I don't know. I just don't have it. I don't have it for lithium per se. But this is nice looking. This is certainly nice looking. Are they giving a dividend? I don't think so. Nope. All right. Bismarcky says 17 degrees in Toronto tomorrow. Any golf courses open? Good question. Good question. I don't know. I don't know if there are or not. Do you still have? You must still have snow on the ground in Toronto. I know we still got a good amount of snow here. Um, let's see. Brian says Casmalee in Burlington is open all year round. Winter golf is interesting. Bounce it off the pond onto the green. That would be interesting. Now, you would probably want to use a different colored golf ball because, it'd be hard to find a white golf ball in a snowbank. Junk Drunk says a lot of Canadian oil companies do sell their oil at WTI and Brent. Also, many U.S. oil companies didn't move up either. All right, fair enough, fair enough. All right, let's just see here. Jonathan says Hims is up 40% in after hours. Wild. Oh, that is, yeah. Well, I can't actually see the after hours right now. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so Hims and Hers. It's kind of one of, I've never jumped on that bandwagon. Like I know, like a lot of YouTubers have jumped on that. I have never done it, but it's an interesting company. I'll leave it at that for the moment. Brian says snowbanks on the greens. Winter rule to putt. Find a spot your tee will go in the ground. Don't worry so much about rules. It is winter golf after all. Yeah, exactly. Larry, oh boy. I'm expecting an air and sea invasion in the next 10 days, so I'll be betting against oil later this week. All right, all right. So I take it you're talking more Iran, I hope. Or yeah, it's not like you're expecting it in the U.S., but there has been. I know there's talks. There's talks of actual troops going in. So I hope that doesn't happen. That could make things really messy there. And unfortunately, maybe the U.S. is doing good with the air stuff, but the reality is once you start sending people in on the ground, there's going to be, the casualty numbers are going to go up big time. And it's kind of interesting too, like right now, this is kind of one of the issues. Like there's been talk that the U.S. is going to run out of munitions. And, I know Trump says, oh no, we got more munitions that we can have. Well, if munitions was not an issue, they wouldn't have had a kind of an emergency meeting with all of the big military companies and saying, please, we need you to quadruple your production immediately. So that wouldn't have happened if munitions wasn't a problem. But here's the thing. Drones don't cost a lot. And that's what Iran is using. And a lot of times these drones are coming in and the U.S. is using an expensive missile on them. So, in a way, it's almost like Iran is kind of like, let's just deplete those U.S. Those U.S. defense missiles. And, I don't know. I'm not saying that they're holding back their missiles, but, I don't know. I think this thing can still get really messy. Boots on the ground, $150 to $200. Oh gosh, yeah. Like I really hope we don't see boots on the ground, guys. Doorpat is in the house with a hi, everyone. Rory says, so you guys in the Lower Mainland, are you crossing over to Washington to get gas? $179.90. Is that how much it is right now in Vancouver? Oh my God. Right now, I'm kind of glad that I work at home. I don't have to go anywhere. Oh boy, that's a lot. Neil says SOFX, UUU, hoods. All right. Well, let's go to the first one now. Let's see what we're. I have not heard of SOFX. Oh, it's okay. Yeah. These, of course, are some of your your 2X. So that one there is the Defiance Daily Target 2X long SoFi ETF. Yes, and when I saw hoods, I'm like, I think that's a Robin Hood one. So, absolutely. Wahipple says snowed here, but just going back quickly to Neil, guys, be careful with these because when you're looking at 2x leverage, imagine if you go long and on Monday, and you're expecting this war to get out of control even more, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, Trump announces, "Yep, we have a deal." Well, you could get hurt really badly in that because you could have things turn around really fast if something, like that happens. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Trump's going to get a deal on this one, but you just never know. Let's see. Scott says there's a joke about playing winter golf with a different colored ball. Okay, I do not know this joke. I'm almost kind of glad I don't know the joke. Samantha says, "Good afternoon, all. Hope you're all having a great Sunday." Awesome. Rory, here's the Russian national. Rory, where are you? Tony says, "Get out of gas car in 2017. Love Tessie. She saves me 1K a month." Rory says, "If HOD drops into the $1 range, it will split." Maybe we'll have to see. We'll see what happens. But I would concur that that's probably what might happen. Paul, let's see. We have a 2018 Toyota Prius Advanced plug-in hybrid. So most of the time we run in EV mode, buy gas every 3 months. Not too shabby then. You might want to stay in EV mode for the next little the next little while for sure. Oh gosh. All right, just before I get to Larry, I'm having some coffee. That is good. All right, 2x, just like options, are unnecessary. All that matters is share size. All right, there we go. There we go. Paul says, "Is Rory watching classic wrestling to hear a Russian anthem?" That's a good question. I don't know I don't know what Rory's listening to. I don't know. Rory, why are you listening to the Russian national anthem? Although I will say, you know, I'm patriotic. I don't condone the old Soviet Union, but they did have a really good national anthem. I'm just saying it was a good national anthem. Let's see. Rory says, "Larry, I had a natural gas trade going until Trump said, 'Oh, we'll escort all ships through the Gulf.' Natural gas dropped to my stop loss. Don't." And I wonder how that's going, though. I have not really heard anything about whether he's been successful. I think he was planning to charge people to do it, but I know there are a lot of tankers that they've just set up anchor. They're like, we're not even making an attempt. We're not paying Trump to take us through the Gulf. We're just not taking a risk. So we'll have to see. Larry says, "I only do 2x to make my numbers unreasonable and attract more shareholders." Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I look at like the really high yield stuff. Your 2x, your 3x ETFs, whether they be longs or shorts. I look at them as being strategic tools. Like if you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money with them. But if you don't know what you're doing, you may very well lose a lot of money with them. So you want to be careful. You want to be careful. You want to pick and choose your times to use them. They can be very, very dangerous. And I've got 2 videos on those saying they're dangerous. Rory, I do play Soviet Red Army music. Sounds great. There we go. Boycott Larry. Niece says, let's see here. Here diesel is, last time I checked, 2044 Swedish kronar. So one Canadian dollar is around 6.7-ish kronar. Here we have personal cars that run on diesel, unlike American. Don't know how Canada have chosen. Oh gosh, there used to be like you. I know when I was young, I knew a few people who actually ran on diesel, and a lot of the gas stations you had a diesel pump and a regular pump. But guys, and I don't know this anymore. Has that gone away? Because I don't have a car, so has that gone away? Do we still have that option to drive to use a diesel car, or have they just pretty much disappeared? Let me know in the comments, and let Niece know in the comments, because, like I said, I'm really not sure. All right. Larry says, yeah, all their insurance is canceled to stop ships passing. So if USA issues their own insurance and naval protection they can pass. Okay, there we go. That makes sense. So that would be another really good good reason for sure. Bismarcky says most cars are gas in Canada. Yeah, and most cars, even when I was young, I mean, most cars were still gas, but there were the few people who had diesel cars. So I don't know, like and obviously, I think there are like a lot of the bigger trucks. Don't they run on diesel still? Guys, I'm really out of my league on this one. This is where we need Vic. Vic drives an 18-wheeler. Vic would know this. um, let's see. Brian, will Trump actually pay up if the ships get hit and sink? No, probably not. I remember in his first term, and this is the thing that I remember very vividly. So Trump was at something, they had it on the news, and he basically told this whole room of people at some restaurant that he was going to, that they didn't have to pay for their bill. He was going to pay for the entire thing. And then he left, and he never did, and everybody got stuck with their bill. I mean, it was just I'm just like, what? What's going on? So I have a feeling that if you get hit and sunk, it's like, whoops. Well, you took the chance. What can I say? Scott says Volkswagen. Good old Volkswagen. I like Volkswagens actually. They're pretty cool. Rory says you sunk my battleship. Well, yeah. Well, I think it was a destroyer though. I think. But yeah, one of the Iranian ships got got torpedoed of all things. So Samantha says I don't see as many diesel cars as I did when I was younger. Mostly Volkswagens. All right, so yeah, there we go. It doesn't sound like we have a lot anymore. Sylvester Still Alone says I don't believe the U.S. is doing as well as their propaganda machine claims. Probably not. I mean, there is a filter, obviously, too. I like to. I will go to different news sources. I'm not going to just rely on the U.S. news sources. Other than right now, and this is kind of an interesting thing, a lot of the U.S. news sources don't like Trump, so they're not being super flattering to him. So it may not be as much propaganda, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt to check out other news sources as well because it gives you a better rounded picture of the whole thing. All right. Paul says since Palantir is up 18.4% in the last month, will PLTE raise the distribution? Oh, good. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say because keep in mind that even though it is up, if it's up in a straight line, there's no need to change that distribution. But if there's a lot more volatility in there, like if it's up, but yet it's been very volatile, maybe you could see a rise. But we'll see. I mean, you never know. I always look at it this. I always look at it this way. If they raise the dividend on something I have, it's like just bonus. It's like, all right, awesome. So I never fret too much about it. Of course, I also don't like it if they cut the dividend. Then it's like, no. It happens from time to time, though. Bismarcky, most commercial big trucks are diesel. And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that most of them are still diesel. So, RC says my work pickup is diesel and it's $2.25 a liter in Lower Mainland. There we go. Lane is in the house. Oh, I made it to a live. Hey, all. Love it. Oh, guys, I haven't seen Mary yet, so I will bring up the like button. If you have not yet hit that like button, let's do it. Let's try to push this up to 70 here today. I don't know where we're at. I'll just refresh it over here on my test machine and see where we are. Okay, there we go. Ooh, that's so good. Now we're at 43. We're at 43. So let's hit the like button. Or if you don't want to hit the like button, sign up for Blossom. Because as I mentioned earlier, we got a contest going there. if I can get in my group right now, the leader in my group is they've got 7 signups. I got 2, so I need to knock that number up a little bit, and I'll just drop that in here again. I'm not going to go all into Blossom again. We already talked a bit about it at the beginning, but I'll just occasionally I'll mention it. All right, Brian. Probably not Paul. I have Palantir and PLTE. PLTE is down a fair amount the past few months. Okay. Let's see. Paul says, waiting for the AI video of Trump and whomever is the current Iranian leader is playing Battleship, the game, into an AI video. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. They released earlier. I watched a YouTube video today. It was about 15 minutes of a whole bunch of clips of some of the new videos that some of these AI's been doing. And this is that AI, the one that made the Tom Cruise video thing. And they had, some of them were actually really funny. But a lot of them, of course, had, well, I think one that was funny is they had Deadpool fighting Darth Vader. And, you know, it was, I mean, they had the voice and everything perfect. And it was actually quite funny. But yeah, so anyway. Scott says Candace, sponsored by Ground News. I'm not sponsored by Ground News, but, you know, I would take it. There's a few companies that, yeah, I would do a sponsorship by Ground News. I like the idea of what they're doing. I do like the idea of what they're doing, and I do like the idea of checking different sources because, you know, sometimes the news is skewed, and if you go to the wrong source, you might get the wrong idea. And half the time, I always believe this, like, if the right is saying A and the left is saying C, the answer is probably B, in between somewhere. So I always like to look at both sides, look at all perspectives, and then see if I can sort of, the first thing I'll do, guys, is if there's 2 different perspectives, is I like to first of all look at where they're the same. Because that's definitely going to be, if both sides are reporting the same thing, or at least even though they may have different conclusions to the same thing, that part is probably 100% accurate. And then, you know, then you have to sort of look at it from, you know, I just don't like to blindly take information. I like to have multiple sources from multiple, you know, different viewpoints. Al says inflation will spike. Diesel in Nova Scotia is $2.01. Al, you reminded me of something funny. I'll mention this. So, I was the other night. I was just sort of browsing the YouTube, and I found this reaction video. A girl was reacting to Weird Al Yankovic for the first time. So I clicked on it to see what to see how she was going to respond to Weird Al, and well, she really didn't know who Weird Al was because she was calling him Weird AI. I was like, what? Weird AI Yankovic? I thought that was hilarious. Maybe if she had actually looked at the date on the video and realized that, you know, the video was pretty much, you know, what, 20 years old? She might have realized that it wasn't AI. But still, it was funny. All right. Larry says soldiers in the Mideast are having issues. They've never had someone who can fight back. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, quite literally, I think sending ground troops. I think sending ground troops in would be probably the worst thing that the U.S. could do. I really think it would be. Let's see, Scott. Diesel costs more, so expect to pay more for the next Fast and Furious movie. What are they at now? Are they at, like, I don't know how many there are. I for some reason I think 8, but I could be wrong. Paul says my PLTE yield on cost is 41.8%, but if you bought PLTE on Friday, the yield is 36.1%. All right, and Chad is in the house. Hey, Chad. Ford Power Stroke, Dodge Cummins, Chevy Duramax diesels are an option in trucks, but the engines cost approximately $10K more. Oh, wow. Yikes. Now, here, let me ask this question. And this is, once again, I just don't know the answer, but do diesels perform better in really cold weather. I'm just wondering if that's, if that is a thing. I don't know. It just, for some reason in my head, I seem to think it might be, but I'm not 100% sure. Rory says after Gen Z comes and goes, we'll be entering the Mad Max generation. Well, we already have the next generation. It's already being born. It's Gen Alpha. That's what they're calling them. So, yeah. And Gen Alpha, my understanding, they're the ones who came up with the whole 6-7 thing. But they probably don't use it anymore now that everybody talks about 6-7. So maybe they're on 8-9. I'm not sure. Sue says, I believe diesel vehicles last. There we go. Let's see. I believe diesel vehicles last year allowed was 2016 because they got caught cheating on emissions. Exempt our commercial vehicles. Okay. All right. Very interesting. Lisa said a friend of mine was shopping in Detroit and accidentally put diesel in her vehicle. She had to get it towed. Yikes. That much I do know. I do know you can't really mix and match. Why doesn't Scotiabank do as well as other big banks? I don't know. Scotiabank's done pretty good. Like, quite literally. Let's just take a look here. BNS. All right. And if we look at the last year, I mean, they've done fantastic. I mean, they've risen from $68 to $98. So I think Scotiabank has done absolutely fine. Like, I don't think they're the bottom if we were to look at the total returns of all of the banks in the last year. Actually, we can do that. We can do that fairly easy. Let me just give me a second here. Let's go here to not technical insights. Where there's a thing here. Wait a minute. I know it was here. I used it before. Oh boy. Compare. Well, yeah, compare. There we go. Price. No, that's not what I'm looking at all. I don't want compare. Oh, there was actually an interesting thing here. Where, I guess maybe it's gone. Oh, that's interesting. Let me see technical insight. Oh no. Oh yeah, this is the one, technical insights right here. All right, let's go to the 1 year. And we're going to add, so we got, we'll put BMO. There we go. Here's BMO. TD. There we go. TD. RY. Oh, NA, National Bank. There we go. CM, CIBC. There we go. And we already have the Scotiabank. So there we go. All right, let's take a look here. So we've got 6 of them. The one in this one here, 30. Oh, which one is this one? All right, this one here has the lowest, 39.92. Now I need, guys, who is that? 39.92. All right, okay. This here is, all right, perfect. So the lowest is, yeah, nope, 46. Royal Bank, 42 point, yeah, Royal Bank actually is the lowest. So it's not Scotiabank. So yeah, looking at it right here, here I'll go as far as I can go. There we go. Yeah, looking at it right here, Royal Bank, 39.92% total return. Not total return, sorry. This here is just return on investment. Scotiabank would then be second last, or no, third, because then we've also got, look, BMO is only at 40.66. So Scotiabank is in position number 4 overall. So yeah, they're not as bad as the other. They're in the bottom half, but they're leading the bottom half. All right. I love it. I love it that we can do this. That's kind of cool. All right, Scott. BNS, Scotiabank bet big on emerging markets in South America. And when other banks went into the U.S., BNS had to come out of, out of Central America and is pivoting now. Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, they're not pulling out completely, but they have scaled back their Latin America. But nonetheless, they're still doing okay. They're still doing okay, guys. Too much exposure in Latin America for Scotiabank. I don't own it. I do own RY. Rory, you own the one at the bottom. Royal Bank and CIBC. Weird Al is more like 40 years ago. Not really Bismarcky. Weird Al, he's even got parodies out of Lady Gaga. Like he's been active. I mean, yeah, he started like 40 years ago, but he's been active pretty much. Well, heck, even he made a parody movie of his life just recently, like last year. I think it was called. I don't know. Was it the Weird Al story? He had the guy who played Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe played him, but it was a parody of a documentary about Weird Al. So there was some truth in it, but a lot of it was complete, just not very true. All right, Candace, what alternate news sources do you follow? Meaning non-mainstream. Okay, so I balance out CNN with the Drudge Report. So the Drudge Report, and that one there, it's actually interesting. The Drudge Report is very right leaning, or at least you might not think so anymore because they've become kind of critical of Trump. I also like to look at other countries. So for example, I'll look at BBC. I'll look at Canada. I'll look at US, and I will also, a lot of times as well, I like to go into just the news. When you go into Google and you do a search on an event, there's a news tab at the top. You can click on that and you can see articles from a lot of different sources. And I always look at the source, and that sort of helps me get more of a broad take for sure. Nice says, let's see, I will take your diesel price. It's like $13 or 13 times kroner. Oh boy. Diesel trucks suck in cold weather. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Paul says Bank of Canada might be raising rates next meeting. 5-year government of Canada bond yield has gone up since February 27th, 2.66% to 2.99%. The war with Iran started February 28th. Yeah. That's one of the fears that's certainly going on, that, obviously this war is going to cause inflation. The price of gas is going crazy. And that means also the price of food, because a lot of food, especially perishables, have to get transported to the grocery store. And, well, those prices are going to start going up pretty fast. So will the Bank of Canada raise prices? Oh boy, it's a possibility. I hope it doesn't happen in the next meeting. I'd like to see at least one more on the pause, but that chance does exist, guys. Unfortunately, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because even though, and this is one of the other things, even though a good chunk of those pandemic mortgages have gone through the system, there's still more. There's still more that are filtering through. So, there could be some, a hike at this point could certainly hurt some people. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it personally. Ian says, I know the older diesel trucks were hard to start in the cold. Okay, all right, fair enough. And like I said, I knew that there was something. I actually thought I thought the diesels might have did better, but it sounds like not so much. Sue says, I think pickups and vans, you can still buy diesel. Brian, my average cost on PLTE was $24.31, so 29.6% yield on cost. PLTR I bought for my fourth and final time at $82. I started buying Palantir at $7, had 880 shares at one point, but only 100 now. Okay. Rory says, I have GICs mature in April. Let's see if the interest rate goes up. Interesting. Lance, any predictions for the market this week? I'm actually thinking the market this week could be less volatile than last week, as long as the war just continues as normal for now. Like, we're looking for a baseline war. no major escalations, no more craziness. That would be nice for a week just to sort of let people get used to it, because that's the thing. A lot of the volatility we've seen is basically, a lot of it's been built on fear, uncertainty, and, well, doubt. I'll throw in the other word, the letter. And it's made it kind of hard. A lot of people, have been selling assets, moving into more defensive stocks. So that's where, we've seen some gold movement that way. Um, and interestingly enough, we talked a little bit about oil. So part of what's also going on with the Canadian oil is that, yeah, some people were selling them just to move into more defensive at the same time. So we got a whole bunch of different factors going on, without a doubt. All right, Nee says, I didn't have any problems last year when it was over negative 25 Celsius here. Okay, oh boy, that's pretty chilly, but yeah, that's normal. That's normal for here as well. Ian says, I hear newer diesels start in any weather. Okay. Like I said, I don't know. Sue, diesel fuel is always more expensive in the winter, cheaper in the summer than gas. One of my vehicles is a diesel, so I am always comparing. I have never had trouble starting in the winter. Okay. Paul, does that TMX comparison chart let you change it to total return to compare covered call ETFs? No, I don't think so. So in this case here, I mean, even here, it's not comparing, like, it's not taking into consideration the dividends. It's just looking at straight return on investment. So I wish it would. I wish it would, because that would be pretty awesome. And Rory says CIBC already unloaded some shares at profit and still showing 122% ROI for the rest. Niece said, don't locks like I could sign up for Blossom. I don't getting the KOD to verify my email. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, doesn't look like I can sign up for Blossom. Oh, that's too bad. Actually, I don't know if it's gone to Europe though yet. That's the problem. I know that they're planning to expand to Europe, but I think right now it might just be North America, Canada, and the U.S. That might be part of what's going on with it, Nice. I'm not 100% sure though. I know that there is plans to eventually go worldwide. I don't know if they started Europe yet or not, to be honest. Scott says, I think the decline of music video channels has a lot to do with Weird Al becoming more obscure. Maybe, yeah, like, who watches music videos anymore? That's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, I assume they still make them, but, I know when I was a lot younger, I watched music videos all the time, but now, unless I think probably the latest music video I think I've watched is probably when Disturbed did The Sound of Silence. That's probably the latest that I've seen. Luke, is Trump still putting tariffs on our oil and gas? Seems odd given all of their supply concerns. As far as I know, I think it's still a 10%, but I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything to say if that has changed in any way, shape, or form. But Dorpat says, I bounce around Al Jazeera, routers, CNBC, and of course, good old Google. Yeah, Google is perfect. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. Like there's a lot of, like, there are some where obviously if I see it, I'm not going. I'm going to bring a lot of salt with me. Like, for example, if I'm doing the Google search and it brings up something from Breitbart, yeah, I'm going to take a grain of salt with me on this. There's another one called what's it? I think it's the Jerusalem Post. That's another one I tend to take a grain of salt with when I'm looking at it. And and even with the Drudge Report, sometimes you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Like here, let me show you the front page of the Drudge Report. They tend to make things seem pretty big. Here, we'll just go over here. We'll use the oil price page. If we just go here, news. Let's go to the Drudge Report. As you can see, they go pretty big. And they use all these huge texts. So sometimes you do have to take it. Like they had, not so much now, but yesterday, their front page, they had a picture of a missile and they were talking about Iran talking about nuking Israel. And I'm like, it's like, okay, yeah. So sometimes you have to take it with a grain of salt. That's kind of that whole thing. All right, let's head back here. Now, Samantha says, what is your opinion of ZLB as part of a set core holdings? Ah, one of those BMO. All right, let's go here. ZLB. And so right here we go. So BMO, low volatility Canadian ETF. And let's pull it up over the last year. And of course, well, anything in the Canadian market has almost all looks like this for the most part. But I do like the BMO fund. So this, of course, you're not going to get. This is going to be basically growth dividend. So you won't get a huge dividend here. Like here, look at this, 1.891%. But this is all about growth. This is all about growth, and if that's what you're after, then this is not a bad one. This is not a bad one. It's it's going to give you similar results to things like VFE, for example. It'll give you very similar results. Now, one of the things that, especially if you follow kind of the strategy that I follow, so growth income investing, a lot of times too, you may want to. You may have a covered call ETF that's giving you a ton of, of income, but it's not really giving you any growth. So sometimes as well, something like this is as nice to have in your portfolio to sort of balance off some of the more aggressive covered calls that you're looking at. And that works. I mean, there's many ways you can do it, that's for sure. All right. Let's see. Lisa says, I think Weird Al is supposed to be performing in Windsor soon. Yeah, he just did a big tour last year, and he's doing another one. I think it's even weirder or something like that. I'm not sure what he's calling it, but yeah, he's been touring like crazy. Of core holdings in a TFSA. Yeah. Let's see. Do you watch any of the Canadian right-leaning shows online? Not really, but I also don't watch any of the left-leaning shows either. I will occasionally catch something on YouTube, but for the most part, I tend to like to just go to a news site and sort of digest it myself. But no, I don't really watch a lot. Like I know that I think there's Rebel Media, I think on the right-hand side for sure. And then you could argue that the CBC would be on the left. I mean, it's there's certainly arguments either way, but no, I don't really watch a lot. Paul says Weird Al's first hit started 43 years ago in 1983. A UHF movie in 1989 with Weird Al and Michael Richards playing the janitor from Seinfeld. Yeah. Yeah, UHF was a pretty good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed UHF. There was a lot of really good things. Like, if you've seen the movie, then you will laugh anytime somebody says Spatula City. So, it was a good movie. Rory says Northern Perspective and Moose on the loose for me. All right. Whoops. Scott says, are you covering the new BMO ETFs like ZMPW? Let's actually take a look. I will cover them if they're interesting. ZMPW, and this one here, CSA Pure, Canadian Securities Exchange. I have not heard of this one before. I don't even know if I'm not really seeing anything here. Let's try this. All right. So yeah, right now I don't know ZMPW. For some reason, it doesn't look like it. Maybe it hasn't released yet. But yeah, I certainly will look at it for sure. I mean, I do like the BMOs. Like, here's the thing, a lot of times, overall, I think this community, like the do-it-yourself community, tends to get down on some of the bigger banks when it comes to their offerings, because a lot of times, they're trying to. In the olden days, they had a lot of they still do. They had a lot of mutual funds that were taking a lot of fees. But yeah, no, BMO has some good solid ones like Some of the BMO bank ones are really good. BMO also has that covered call spread fund for gold. And I can't wait to see how that looks, because we took a look at it I think I looked at it in one video, but it really hasn't had a time to mature. So I really hate to take an ETF that isn't a year old and sort of, put them over the coals, because a lot of times it takes a year just to sort of get a general idea of what's going on with that ETF, at least the initial year. So, one of the things I do want to do this year is, because we had so many ETFs drop last year, brand new ones, a lot of them are coming up on their 1 year. So speaking of that, MSTE, whether you love it or hate it, it's now a year old. So that one I'm going to do that one on Tuesday. So that'll be Tuesday's video. You'll be able to watch it a day early, though, if you are a channel member. Then, and I got a real special one coming up for you on Friday, guys. So I got a comment the other day. Somebody was saying that they were talking to Claude, and Claude was talking about, their best bet was to go with HDIV and VDY, and I think it was also BMAX in there as well. But that reminded me, almost every time I do a video on HDIV, somebody in the comments says, "Oh, why HDIV? Why not just go VDY? You'll make more money. VDY." I hear that constantly every time I do one of those. So I thought, you know what? Let's put it to the test. So we're doing a battle. We're doing an ETF battle for Friday. It's going to be HDIV versus VDY. And I've thrown a little bit of a twist in it. Because a lot of times, how many times, guys, have you guys said, which of these do you prefer? And I've said, you know what? I kind of like both. So I'm also going to look at not just how one does over the other, but what about some mixtures? What if you go 50-50 or 25-75? So that'll be in the video as well. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about that one. That one's coming up for Friday, or if you're a channel member, you can be able to see that on Thursday. All right. Paul says, article from Science Alert website. Viagra may be one of our best existing options for an Alzheimer's treatment. Poor wives. Oh, no. You know what? That's a thing that does happen. A lot of times, one medication that's designed for something else turns out to have a beneficial effect to something totally different. It happens from time to time. And so, and usually what it is usually there's somebody who maybe has Alzheimer's and decides that they want to get their funky on. So they take some Viagra, and all of a sudden their Alzheimer's gets better. Enough of that happens that there's a bit of a pattern, and all of a sudden, so it might be an interesting thing that, they might see what active ingredient in Viagra is causing the benefits to Alzheimer's. So maybe that can lead to an Alzheimer's treatment. So that's pretty cool, though. That is pretty cool, Paul. 1 liter diesel here is 304 Canadian. If 1 Canadian is 6.72 chrono. There we go. Lisa says, Rory, have you watched National Telegraph? The guy is a bit dorky, but he's really good. And let's see here. Yep, I watch him too, and a few others. So Canadian oil rise next week. I think it will. I think we will see Canadian oil, so Canadian Western Select. I think it's going to go up. I can't tell you how much it's going to go up. I was kind of earlier, like, if things remain, if the status quo with the war continues, I can see West Texas Intermediate hitting about 100 in this coming week, and maybe Canadian Select, maybe we can get it up to about 75. Like, it's sitting at, I think, 66 right now. Or was that 68? It was 68 or 66. Do you think Trump is really going after Cuba, or do you think he's doing that to influence the markets? It's a good question. He did mention it, and I think it's in the back of his mind. I don't think he's gonna. I really don't think he'll do it until he's finished with Iran, and I have a feeling Iran's going to go on a little bit longer than Trump expects. But if I was Cuba, I'd be concerned. All right, A says, which stock ETF do I invest if I want to put about $500 a week into the TFSA? Oh, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, A. You know, we were just looking like, what were we just looking at? We just looked at that one from BMO. That's a nice one, but it also depends on what your goal is too, A. Like, are you looking to create income with it, or are you looking to just save towards retirement, try to grow your TFSA as big as possible without worrying about income? Those would completely change what that answer would be, for sure. Putin and Xi Jinping are sitting back waiting for Trump to destroy everything. Well, Putin, I mean, this is kind of making money for Russia. Even though they've got all the sanctions on them, they've got their little black oil, they got their little exporting oil, and they can charge more now. So, Russia's kind of getting a little bit of extra money through their black market oil channels. So, yeah, I think Putin is enjoying it for that reason. Lance, I think after this mess in the Middle East settles, WXM and FXM are going to perform well. WXM. WXM, you say? Oh, Morningstar, Canadian Momentum Index ETF. Okay, all right. Yeah, I've heard of this. I just wasn't familiar with the ticker. I guess not the ticket, but the ticker. Oops, why did I click on that? I wanted to actually look at their last year. Yeah, and they've done well already, Lance. So, yeah, no, these are good. These are good. One of the things I got to say, CI, they really just don't get a lot of love. They certainly don't get a lot of love, but I think they're still a pretty good management company. They just, like I said, they don't get a lot of love. And FXM, I'm going to assume this is going to be another momentum. Yeah, there we go. No, it's a value index. Okay, well, interesting. Yeah, pull up that 1 year. Yeah, pretty much same story. Same story. Probably slightly different stocks though. All right, Rory, Canoe EIT, can it get to 1650? Oh, Canoe can get back to 17. Canoe can get back to 17 for sure. Rob, Candace, do you believe in overtaxing your paycheck so that you can get an income tax refund check? I wouldn't do it because, I look at it this way. If you're investing, even if you invest in something simple, the return that you could make from that instead of, letting the government hold it. Because if the government holds it, you're making nothing on that, right? Even if you took that money that you would have put in the overtaxing, even if you put that in a simple fund, heck, even if you put it in a cash ETF, there's something where you've got very low risk. So if you put that money into a cash ETF, you're still going to get, almost 3% on it. And then you pay your taxes at the time of taxes, or maybe you don't get as much back, but you've made money at least on that money in the meantime. So I would say no, I don't really, unless you're one of those people that you just want that big money because you have a big buy that you want to make. Because, a lot of people do that. They get their tax rebate and they think of it as, oh my God, it's my bonus money this year. It really isn't. I mean, it's still, it's your money. But, I look at it that way. Niece says Swedish Spotify helped to kill MTV. Ooh, I sense a story here. I have no idea about this, but I like it. MTV. All right, Medeus on the left and Rebel News on the right. That's not enough salt. I've heard of it's funny, Scott. I've seen, it's come up in my feed a few times, some stuff from this Medeus. I've never actually watched any of it. Because a lot of times too, it comes and it's, I look at the stories, just the thumbnails, And I can tell right away that it's kind of bordering on propaganda immediately. So yeah. Ah, yes. Oh, this famous line. Badgers. We don't need no stinking badgers. Yeah. That's Raoul's Wild, is it Raoul's Wild Animals or Wild Kingdom? Something like that. But yeah. Um, yeah, Weird Al and UHF. That's such a funny movie. Rory, we have lakes of salt south of us in western Saskatchewan. Oh, do you? I did not know this. BMO has new target yield ETFs of their current covered call ETFs, but still no 1.25x leverage. The tickers end in .t. So yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know if you'll see leverage on BMO. One of the things that BMO is very famous for is they're not very aggressive with their covered calls. Like most of their stuff is both basically out of the money. They give lots of room for upside. So, but you're not getting big. Like even if you look at, well, you look at almost any of these, you're going to find very little when it comes to dividends, at least on the covered call front. Now, a lot of these ones here, like ZEQT, obviously that's not a covered call fund. That's your all equity. But you never know. I mean, BMO, they are the ones that are doing that covered call spread with their gold. So there is maybe they'll surprise us. I'd love it if they would. That would be kind of cool to see some BMO funds like, leverage and covered calls. But so far, no. Let's see. TMX never has anything new. The BMO ETFs are on the CBOE. Just came out this month, I believe. Yeah, but it should still show up on here. Normally, we see a little bit of everything on here. But yeah, and except for, and you are right. Sometimes we will have a new ETF that comes out and it just doesn't show up yet, or it's here but it's not referenced. So that's kind of the interesting thing. So in this case here, well, all right, we've already left it, but in this case here, it at least found it. It just didn't have any data. But yeah, no, I do like BMO. I do like BMO. All right. Paul says, and more. A says Viagra is a vasodilator. I assume it can also improve blood flow in the brain. Probably. That's probably what's going on there. Let's see. Wahipple says, I like both VDY and HDIV. They work nicely together. Well, let's find out if that's true. We'll find out if it's true. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to spoil the video. A says, what do you think about Well Health? Got it at 4. Currently, it is above 425. All right. So that's the one, if I remember correctly. That's, what is it? Telehealth? Is that kind of what it is? I think it is. Let's see here. We'll pull it up here. So yeah, Well Health Technologies, currently sitting at 435. Yeah, let's see. Support, healthcare providers. Well, platform, front and back end management. Oh, maybe not. I was actually thinking that it was more of a telehealth thing, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like they do a little bit of everything. This is not a bad sector. I mean, right now, obviously with the baby boomers getting older, I always talk a lot about the long-term care homes, but health overall, like I think a lot of healthcare is going to be, well, one, I think it's going to be definitely pushed to the max for sure. So yeah, I think this has a good opportunity. This has, like, if you look at them in the last year, well, they're kind of everywhere right now, but yeah, oh boy. See, I look at this and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to touch this because I'm not seeing any clear. I'm seeing a lot of movement to the side. I just want to go to the back end for a second and see. Uh-oh. So right now they're not profitable. So right now they're sitting at a negative return on equity. They've got 58% debt to equity. So their debt's not too bad, but Yeah, this would be one I'd be a little careful with. I'd be a little careful. Charles says, like finasteride, it was originally used to treat inflamed prostates, but it was found to help prevent baldness. Oh, okay. All right. There we go. Politicians, 200,000 Iranians in Canada. Good luck with that. Okay. Okay. Well, Canada's not attacking Iran, but, it's hard to say if there's any distinction between Canada and the US. Well, there is, but, I think sometimes a lot of people, hopefully it's changing, but I think a lot of people sometimes look at Canada as just being like an extension of the United States, and that absolutely annoys Canadians to no end, to no end. The Viagra news could be good for investing in retirement homes. Maybe. All right, I'm looking forward to that video on Thursday. I have both funds. Awesome. You wouldn't be able to call them wrinkle ranches anymore. Oh boy. Putin described Canada as a barking yap dog. Gosh, politicians, tell us what you really feel about Canada. Holy banana bread. Sit, Carney, sit. Good dog. That's the end of a lot of those sitcoms, right? Have that although it's not Carney, I think it's what's his name? I don't know what the dog's name is. For some reason, I'm thinking Fubo. No, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Let's see. I'd rather a yap dog than a lap dog. All right. Imagine all the extracurricular activities going on in the retirement and nursing homes. The nurses will be kept extra busy. I wonder how many residents will all of a sudden have Alzheimer's. There we go. Let's see. Now with Alzheimer's increase in cases, lots of people have been on statins, drugs for cholesterol, but your brain needs cholesterol. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, your whole body needs cholesterol. I mean, cholesterol. Your cell walls are made of cholesterol. So pretty important, obviously. Let's see. You made a video about Matrix recently. Have you checked out AGO? I think it would complement Matrix nicely. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. AIGO. Here we go. Whoops. We'll try this again. AIGO. So the Global X Artificial Intelligence and Technology Index. Nice. Yeah, it would certainly be. So this one here looks to me, I can tell right now just looking at it. I have a feeling it's actually investing in the bigger tech companies. I think, but let's just take a look because I haven't really looked a lot at this one. Yeah, see, it's designed to provide exposure to developed market listed companies that are positioned to benefit from, So yeah, this is going to have a lot of those big tech companies. So the difference between Matrix and this, of course, Matrix is your back end, so your infrastructure, which I think is really good. But yeah, if you want a full AI experience, these two would work nicely together. You'd have, the back end with Matrix and the front end with AIGO. AIGO. There we go. I was trying to say it as one word. AIGO. There we go. I like AIGO. I'm going to call it AIGO until somebody tells me, no, that's not how they pronounce it at the company. Unity, Saskatchewan is surrounded by salt. No ghosts in Unity. Yeah, the ghosts ward off salt. At least that's what we've all learned from watching episodes of Supernatural. Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates will intensify pressure on the USA because shipping oil from the region and the day-to-day businesses are disrupted by this war. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I saw something on YouTube just about the fact that a lot of the shops down in that area, they're getting almost no tourism, like zero, zilch. And it's definitely absolutely impacting big time. Let's see. BMO ETFs are very conservative. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Rory, I own one BMO fund, ZDV. Dollar Store Plus, overcrowded health clinics. What's left of Canada? Oh, boy. Luke. Oh, we got our QQQ. I love the QQQs. Candace, do you think renewable energy might get a bump with oil hitting $90? I own BEP and Northland Power. Uh, that's going to be interesting. The thing is that, your renewables, yeah, there could be, I mean, we could see a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a big hit, though. I think I think oil will see a bigger hit than renewables, but at the same time, if we get into a crisis, so an energy crisis, which is something that people think we might see, and we actually hit some shortages, then renewables could get a pump from that. So is it going to happen fast? I don't think it would happen as fast. I think renewables would be more or less I would call it almost a second wave of movement to the upside. Elaine says, let's see, RCDC is a growth covered call ETF from Royal Bank. I've had 10 shares for half a year and it's doing good, small yieldish 6%. But with the price gain, I've had almost 10%. So yeah, once again, as you can see, out of the money covered calls, so less aggressive, so they're leaving you room for upside, and that's fantastic. I mean, before all of these covered calls became a big thing, um, it was pretty much a BMO one. BMO was kind of they had pretty much the only one out there. Now I know this is Royal Bank, but BMO was one of the first covered calls in Canada. Well, it was the first covered call in Canada. But they're not aggressive, and most of the big banks are not going to be aggressive. I think TD. I don't know if TD has a covered call one or not, but I know TD has quite a few interesting ones as well. Ubu, it's Ubu. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. Jonathan's got it, and Rory. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. Ubu Productions at the end of TV shows. Yes, exactly. Ubu. Let's see. Chips or X chip for semi exposure. All right. All right. Fair enough. A says, would you recommend Shopify, Lightspeed, Go Easy? Out of those three, I would recommend Shopify before I would recommend the other two. Go Easy, I just don't like them. I feel like they're predatory when it comes to predatory lending. So I don't have a lot of nice things to say about Go Easy. Now Lightspeed, Lightspeed's more point of sale, but I think I feel like retail's on the way out. Like I really feel that. I felt that for a while. Like how many people, how often I don't even go to retail anymore. Like if I need something, I just order it. So, and I don't know, I haven't looked enough into Lightspeed to know whether they also do. I don't think they do online at all. I think that's mostly Shopify. So I think Shopify is kind of in that spot where I think they're going to get more. But now keep in mind, we still have AI, but I think Shopify will be safe from AI. Let go of my ego. I love that. That's awesome. You can get that exposure with Ego. It is very nicely diversified. I chose it over XQQ. All right. Dubai will probably see flight of capital away now due to geopolitical issues. Yeah, I know a lot of people have gone to Dubai for the tax situation because no taxes. I mean, that's my understanding is that there's pretty much if you are a foreigner, you can live there without paying taxes, and so there's a lot of the crypto bros actually went to Dubai. Let's see. Gary David Goldberg's production company was Ubu Productions. Okay, there we go. Rory says Singapore is Dubai in a sense, but has that COVID injection law in place. The last time I heard, anyway. What is a COVID? I don't know what a COVID injection law, what that was, but Singapore has this reputation, but when I went there, they didn't even ask me any questions at customs. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right, I'm still kind of curious about the COVID injection law. Is it like you have to have a COVID injection to go there, or is it you're not allowed to have one? I honestly don't know. Oh gosh, that's so good. Very, very good. All right. I haven't mentioned it in 5 minutes, guys, but I want to bring up Blossom one last time. This will be the last time I bring up Blossom today. So guys, of course, Blossom is that app for social media folk, and it is pretty good. I like it. Guys, right over there right now on Blossom, they are, so amongst the ambassadors, we're having a March Madness contest. And so the way it works is everybody who signs up, we get a point if they use our code. And we got it broken in division. I think there's prizes too, guys. So I want to win a prize. I think if I finish first in my division, I'll get a prize. So right now the leader has 7. I'm sitting at 2. So if you guys sign up, you know, and the fact is, it doesn't cost you anything, and it is pretty fun over there. And guys, if you do sign up, be sure to follow me because I want to follow you back and see what you guys are posting. All right, and I'm going to drop that link one more time in here. Bang, boom. There we go. Blossom on the way. Ooh, not speaking of Blossom, we should be hearing this week whether or not Wealthsimple, you guys won a Wealthsimple coin. So I think the draw, is it the 13th or the 14th? It's one of the days. I don't know which one it is, but that is this coming week. So I'm hoping. Now, somebody told me it was a scratch ticket. Like, we'll actually have a scratch ticket on the screen to scratch. So if that's the case, I can do it live on the air because that would be cool, especially if I won. Oh my God. Guys, that would be like a much watch entertainment because I probably will freak out in a good way if I win. If I win. So we'll have to see. But that's coming up this week. Rory, you have to be jabbed to work there is what I heard. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't had a COVID shot in a long time now. Let's see, and we're back to Viagra. Anti-vaxxer says what I heard. All right. Let's see. What are good growth-based REITs? Oh. All right. I would honestly, I would be looking, I don't know if I would look at a traditional REIT. So I am bullish right now on industrial REITs and anything healthcare related. But I would be, you know what? Right now, I think long-term care is going to do really, really well. So I would say instead of a traditional REIT, I would, you know, if you're looking for growth, I would look at something like Extendicare, SIA. So there's a few. So Extendicare, like, you know, we'll just pull them up here. Like, just to give you an idea of the type of growth we're talking about. You're not getting it, like, you're not getting big dividends here, but here's the last year. I mean, they've just been absolutely on fire the second half. The demand will be, I think the demand's going to be big because right now the boomers, you know, most of them have already retired. I think right now we're almost at the point that Gen X's are heading towards retirement, but most of the boomers, I think, have retired, and they're pushing to that older and older part. And as they push older and older, they get to that point where they do need that extra help. Maybe they need a long-term care home. You know, maybe they need that wheelchair to be turned into a power wheelchair. Just, you know, because that's another company we look at from time to time. And that's going to be big, I think, for long-term care homes. Anybody servicing services that are catered to the elderly, there's going to be a huge demand. So when you're looking at growth, this is a place where you can get a little bit of growth in there for sure. So I am liking things like this. And this is, you know, and this is just one, like I mentioned, SIA as well. Here is SIA, so Sienna Senior Living, and whoops, we'll pull over there 1 year, and you can see same story. Same story. And actually, you could even argue that they've been on the go. They've actually had more consistent than Extendicare, but I do like them both. All right. What are your thoughts? Your thoughts on what Easy will be like? So Easy, this is, of course, the new ETF that will be launching. I think it's on the 12th. So it is Evolve ETF, and it's going to hold all of their, and this is my understanding. I don't have a 100% confirmation on it, but I think it's holding all of the ultra yield ETFs. So it'll have Canny, biggie, sexy, inty, and it's going to be, in a way, it's going to give you that that diversification of an all equity ETF. Fantastic. I love all equity ETFs, but here's the problem. Of all of these funds, Sexy's pretty much the only one that's really performing. The others are underperforming. So I think I really think Easy is going to struggle a little bit unless we get some rebalancing. I'd like to see some rebalancing in there. Get some of these other ETFs back on track. Get Biggie back on track. Get Canny back on track. Get Inty back on track. If we could get them all on track and have them all running with the efficiency of Sexy, well, then I think Easy would be really cool. But right now, I'm a little bit cautious. I'm cautious on Easy. I'm cautious. Let's see, that might have changed. Let's see, Scott says, I was there pre-COVID, so no insight there, but Canada has travel advisories and would say if there are any additional requirements for visiting. Yeah, that would make sense. Let's see, Ian says, I need a trigger warning for when you are going to bring up EXE. I sold it at 13 and change. Oh, yeah, gosh. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. Doug says, I think Mr. Lala will add more to Biggie down the road. Yeah, I assume that he probably will. Like Evolve, they've got a really good management team. You know, I like Evolve quite a bit. So I definitely think that if these are not performing, they're gonna tinker. They will tinker for sure. So you know, it's gonna happen, but hopefully sooner than later, because I would love to see them, you know, by the time we get to their 1 year, I'd love to see them actually in the green. That's kind of my goal for those. Get them in the green for sure. All right, let's see. Scott says 60 performing well, and back to Viagra. Good old Viagra. Yeah. Let's see. Shane says, I'm already a member of Blossom. Do you still get credits if I go follow you? Not in this contest, no, but you should still do that because I'll follow you right back. And the reason I do that, guys, I'll show you once again. So when I go into Blossom, yeah, this is Peanut's post. Let's just, and there is this one in here. So this is basically, here, let me go to the front page. So on the front page of Blossom, this is your feed. I will never read through this feed. I don't care to. And I'll tell you why. Because I want to be following you guys. I want to see what you guys are doing. So basically, when you guys follow me, it will all be here. Oh, look here. Apollo followed me and Kay followed. So get a couple back there. I will simply follow you right back. And this way here, I go through this list and I'm like, all right, let's see here. There we go. Mega Warrior liked my comments for the summary because a Mega Warrior gave a summary of like one of my last videos. But I like to go through this list and see what's going on here. And, you know, like I instantly caught this. See this at Candace, at Mountain Finance. If you put that in here, it'll show up on my mentions. I'm always looking at the mentions because I want to go and, you know, if you guys mention me, I want to jump back. I want to jump back and say, you know, hey, thank you for one, you know, and see what's going on. But I will go through here. Like I tend to go through here. And I know earlier today I saw something. I think I actually saw something from Mark. Oh boy. Now, where was it? I don't know. But there was something. Oh, for Dave. Well, here's Dave. I don't know if Dave is in the house right now, but, you know, just something about, I don't know. I haven't seen this video, but I'll check it out. Something about what the Western media won't mention. And here, I'll actually pull it up here. And, you know, we won't actually play the video, but, oh, I actually did see this video. All right. Yeah, I saw this video earlier today. You remember when I was talking to you guys about the amount of munitions that the U.S. still has? This video sort of touches all in on that. So, yeah, I did see this one. All right. Very funny. All right. Rory, for Canadian citizens traveling to Singapore, there are no mandatory COVID-19 vaccination or quarantine requirements, just a yellow fever vaccination certificate. There you go. And that's the thing, guys. Just because you hear something on the internet, you still want to double check, especially if you're going to travel to a foreign country. I mean, you know, who wants to spend their week before traveling to go running around to find a COVID shot if you don't need it? Um, do you like what offerings Purpose Investment has? I rather like PDIV, especially since it pays out within the first 3 to 4 days of the month, and its utilities, they hold their value well. Yeah, no, Purpose has quite a few good ones. Actually, Purpose at one point, they were one of the first ones jumping on all of the crypto stuff, so that was always kind of good. But yeah, Purpose is definitely, they're definitely good, and they've also got some pretty high yield ones as well. So I do like, I think they call them yield shares, the Purpose yield shares, but yeah, they kind of started a lot of things. Like when you look at the single stock ETFs, they actually began with Purpose, and then Harvest started to do them, and then now we've got some from 9 Point does them and a few others. All right. Now, Roy says I'd rather visit Salvard or Salvard than Singapore. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Um, I would love to go. Quite literally, if I went to the Scandinavia, I'd want to go somewhere. I don't know what the farthest northern community, and it doesn't matter. It could be Finland, Sweden. I'd like to go up there just because I still have not, and I know. I'm in the United States. I'm in Canada. Oh God, I can't believe I almost said that. I'm in Ottawa here, and I have never seen the Northern Lights. I've been in the situation where the Northern Lights have been here, but almost every time there's Northern Lights, there's a thick cloud cover and I can't see a thing. So I've never seen the Northern Lights. I just want to see them once. Once, that's all. That's all. But I haven't seen them yet. I haven't seen them at all. Oh. Doug says, you're amazing. Thank you for answering all of our questions. I do my best. I do my best to try to answer the questions. Um, I don't always. I don't always like, if it gets really busy, I do have to skip over questions. But, if it's not busy, I will try. I will do my darndest for sure. Paul, I see my harvest distributions in my account. Ooh, nice. Doug says, I went to Algonquin Woodruff campus in Ottawa back in the late 80s. Ah, yes, good old Algonquin. I did my university in Halifax, so I don't know if I've ever really been on the Algonquin. No, I went to see Kevin Smith did this thing. He was introducing what was it, Clerks 3, and he did sort of a talk before, like little talk before and a big talk after. That might have been at, I don't know if that was Algonquin, but it might have been there. But yeah, that was pretty much all my exposure to Algonquin. Oh boy. Yeah, I need to get out more. That's it. Oh well, that's fine. I don't mind. So what can I say? Holy banana bread. Oh gosh. See, this is what happens when Mary's not here. I don't stay on top of the likes. So we wanted to get, I said 50, and then, we of course always want to get to 70. I don't know where we're at. I'm just refreshing the side box. Ooh, look at that. We're at 61. So guys, we're 9 away from 70 likes. So if you haven't yet hit that like button, just do it now. Just hit the button. And we'll see it go up, or we won't see it go up. It's Sunday. I'm not gonna bring up the likes anymore. I'll bring it up if we get there. If we get there, I'll bring it up. But if we don't, I won't bring it up. Scott, let's see. It was in Bob Kajan. I saw the constellations reveal themselves 1 star at a time. Okay, interesting. Yeah. It's actually funny. I think yesterday I started to watch a video. And it looked like the guy had a science background. So I was expecting a sciencey video. And almost right away, he started talking about the constellations being in alignment. And I'm like, oh God, no, this is not what I'm looking for. I didn't go very far. It's like, as soon as somebody starts bringing astrology into a science video, I'm like, yeah, nope, this is not for me. Rory says 4 likes. And Pereri says, I am born and raised in Winnipeg, gone coast to coast, down south, and to Europe. I'm now pushing 60, but have never been to Churchill on my bucket list. And just be careful in Churchill. They got them polar bears up there. I don't know how. Obviously polar bears are really, really dangerous, but I don't know how often there ends up being a conflict between humans and polar bears. I think as long as you stay away from the dump, you're probably fine. But yeah, oh boy. Doug says, I watched the Tragically Hip at the Woodruff campus the night Ben Johnson won the gold in the '88 Olympics. The lead singer announced it when they came back from the campus pub after taking a set break. Okay, there we go. Cool. Let's see. I actually had to write. I had to write an essay on Ben Johnson at university. We had this thing where at St. Mary's anyway, you had to be able to graduate, you had to do a, I think it was called a use of English or something like that. It was an exam. And they would give you a topic that you had to write an essay on. And I got a topic, I believe it was about Ben Johnson and steroid use. And I had to write this big art. I had to write a big art essay on it. I passed, so we'll leave it at that. Gary says you deserve 100 likes. Hey, I would never say no to 100 likes. So yeah, very, very cool. Paul says we are in the 51st state. Not yet. Not yet. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Lisa says, I didn't think calling people in the chat derogatory names was allowed here. Well, it's not. I didn't see it. But maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't see it. Or if I did, it didn't register. So I certainly apologize. If somebody, yeah, guys, be respectful to everybody in chat, please. Please. All right, let's see. I saw the '88 Olympic torch displayed on the 51st floor of Suncor Energy Center in Calgary. Ah, cool. I actually saw the torch guys running by in Vancouver in, what was that? Was that 2010? So yeah, that was kind of cool. Now, mind you, they ran by pretty fast and it was hard to see because there were so many people lined up along the streets. I never got to see, now Arnold Schwarzenegger actually was one of the torchbearers towards the end of that run, but I never got to see Arnold with the torch. Paul, Northern Lights just drive out of town or you have to go too far. When you go camping way out of town, you see the Milky Way and the Northern Lights. Yeah, well, that's the other thing too, is obviously there's a lot of light pollution in the city. Now, I am in the very southern part of the city, but nonetheless, yeah, that's always a possibility too. All right. You may have passed. Unfortunately, Ben Johnson did not pass the drug test. No, he did not. And I can't even remember, honestly, I can't remember the gist of the essay I wrote, other than I know it was about Ben Johnson and performance-enhancing drugs. Doug says, back to investing. Do you feel, or do you know of, or would be interested in an ETF that has companies like Lockheed Martin? All right, so yeah, let's see here. I wonder, you know what? Let's try something here. All right, let's go. There is that new defense one. It's called Shield, SHLD. Now, I don't know if they have Lockheed Martin in them. I think they might. So this here is your Global X Defense Tech Index ETF. All right, we may have to actually go to the page, but they've been doing pretty good since they launched. This is a fairly new one. All right, they've gone from what here? 2049 to 3021. So that's not too shabby. I'll just see. Maybe it'll say in the, no, I was going to say maybe it would tell me in here, but it doesn't have anything in here yet. So let's go to Global X. I don't know if I have this one. Actually, we'll just go over to the Drudge page. I don't think I have this one already in here. Nope. I've been trying to save some of them so that I don't have to look them up, but let's do it. Let's go. All right. I have a feeling that they're there, though. There we go. Shield, ETF, Global X Defense. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. We'll see if they got marked. All right, here we go. Holdings. There we go. Yeah, number one. I was like, I thought they had it for sure. Lockheed Martin, 9.47%. And then we got RTX Corp, General Dynamics, Rheinmetall AG, and Palantir in there as your top five. And then there's a few others over here as well, but I'm not worried so much about the secondary group. But yeah. So there you go. Shield. So SHLD. So this will give you your exposure for sure. 69. Nice. Nice says, search on YouTube after Swedish Ice Hotel or Hotel. They need to rebuild every winter. Oh, Ice Hotel. Yes. We actually have one in Canada as well. I think in Quebec. So I'm not going to go. I will not go to an Ice Hotel. I like warmth. I like electric blankets. I don't want to sleep on a nice bed. It's not going to happen. But yeah, we have one in Quebec. I've watched some stuff there. But yeah. For people who want to do it, though, you got two options: Quebec, or you could head to Sweden. A mayor says, if these days don't make the case for electric mobility and renewable energy, I don't know what will. Fair enough. Yeah. Used 3 other accounts to add. Oh, Paul, you don't have to do that. But thank you nonetheless. There is an ETF with the ticker of, is there? Oh my gosh. All right. I am just kind of curious now. All right. War. Yeah. US. Oh boy. And it is the U.S. Global Technology and Aerospace and Defense ETF, ticker of WAR. U.S. one, guys, it probably has the same stuff. I'd rather go with the Canadian one. Shield at least sounds like your defense. War sounds like you're being kind of aggressive. All right. Yeah, war. What is it good for? Yeah, absolutely nothing. Say it again. That's all I know of the song. CYH has a little bit of Lockheed. CYH, let's pull them up. iShares Global Monthly Dividend Index ETF. Okay, yeah, there we go. So there's another option. I have a feeling, though, you're going to get more exposure through Shield than you would through this one. One person in the past live streams called Adriano not nice names. Yes, I did see that. I did that. All right. Yeah, I was thinking whether this one. So yeah, I didn't read what they said, but yeah, guys, if you don't like somebody, just still be respectful. You can say, like, there's nothing wrong with saying I don't agree with Adriano, or I didn't like his advice. That's all you have to say. You don't have to sort of call him a name, whether it be derogatory or not. Just like, you don't have to agree. Like, you don't have to agree with me. And hopefully, like, if you go into another stream, it's like, that Candace told me this. You could actually say it that way. Just don't. I wouldn't say that that beep told me this. Like, I'll be like, all right, I mean, you can do it, but I mean, obviously. I don't think it always reflects well on anybody if you're using, real names. Like, yeah, I mean, you know what? Adriano's human. Will he make mistakes? Sure. Did he make a mistake? Don't know. Wasn't there. Don't know anything about it. All I can just say is that, be respectful. You don't have to like everybody's ideas, but, you don't have to call them really bad names either. So yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. All right, now I see where that's coming from. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And I'm gonna blame myself a little bit. I probably should have addressed it right at the moment it happened. We're just busy, and I was trying to get through, and I was like, ah. All right. Rory says, I'm not an anti-vaxxer either. Okay. Let's see. Rory says, Adriano has good info, in my opinion. Him and Perry have value. Mayor, I believe the market has gone insane. Guess which country's index was the best performing this month in the world? Israel. Wow. I did not know that. Interesting. Another insanity, the US dollar has become a safe haven again. For now, but Wahipple says, Adriano, I stopped watching his videos. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Lisa says, you read the comment out loud. I did, but I didn't actually say the word. I left the word out. So just to be clear, yeah. And actually, and the funny thing is, I was halfway through reading the comment when I saw the word, and I didn't say the word. I'm not going to say the word ever. Well, heck, I don't even I don't even swear on the channel. So yeah, I didn't say the word. But yeah, no, I should have addressed it right then. I think it was just I think I was trying to get through, and we're also towards the end of the stream at that time, and I was just like, yeah, no, I should have addressed it. That's on me, 100%. Rory, the only thing I don't like about Adriano is his stance on MSTE or Bitcoin. Yeah, and fair enough. And that's the thing. You can disagree with somebody's, I like to do it opinion by opinion, right? Like I like Adriano. He's a good guy. I've had him on the live stream once. So, I may not agree with his, his thoughts on MSTE, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that it invalidates his thoughts on everything. He's got a lot of good ideas as well. I mean, everybody does to a certain extent. Mayor, look at the iShares MSCE Israel, the ISRA ETF, all of them. Is that what it is? IZRA? I can take a look at that. IZRA. Okay, I'm not seeing that one there, but let me just take a look. Let's see here. IZ. All right, so MS, I'm just going to try MSC. Israel. Okay, oh, here we go. Israel acquisitions. Israel acquisitions. iShares. Oh, right here. EIS. This is the US version, though. iShares MSCI Israel. So this is the US version. Let me take a look. Yeah, it's been going up. It's certainly been going up for sure. All right, Doug, I commend people like yourself and Adriano for putting their ideas and plans out there. I would be out of touch with all of you. Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing too. I mean, you shouldn't just listen to one YouTuber. Like, if you're trying to get some ideas and some inspirations, listen to a few, because obviously I have my opinions. Adriano has his, and they're gonna differ. And maybe listening to a couple of opinions that are differing in one area, or maybe they agree in some other areas, it might very well help send you in the right direction when it comes to your own due diligence. So I always like to look at it like that. X Funds Defense and Rare Earth Income ETF, WEPN, seeks exposure to both defense and rare earth companies, and also ETFs and or ETPs that seek exposure to strategic metals, minerals, and options. All right, interesting. Candace can start banning people who don't respect the rules. The rest of us would appreciate it. Immature name calling is so rude. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the big part is just sort of figure out where we draw the line. Like if somebody calls somebody a goof, I'm not going to ban you for that. You can call me a goof right now if you want to. I'm okay with that. But yeah, I think what it comes down to is I think I need to give one warning, and then unless it's a really bad word, if it's a really if it's a really bad word, then yeah, it should be an insta ban. And I know the word that was used. Oh, it's very borderline, very borderline. So I have a feeling it's interesting that the person who did it has not shown up this stream, and I think they kind of got a mouthful at the end as well. But yeah, no, that was definitely. I'll be a little more diligent, guys. I'll try to be a bit more diligent on that because that's the thing. Like it was nice. What I need is I need mods. I'm at the point I think I do need to have. Like I had JJ for a while, but he's kind of done his own channel now, and So if you've been here a long time and you want to be a mod, let me know. Just let me know. Message me on Blossom. Message me on Blossom because I could certainly use a couple of mods. And basically all it is if somebody comes in and says something really bad, you can time them out or or you could ban them. Um, Rory, let's see. I got into HYLD and HDIV due to Adriano's videos, not before doing my due diligence first. Yeah, and that's exactly the thing. When I bring up a new ETF, don't just run out and buy it, guys. You want to make sure it makes sense to you. You want to, because it may make sense to me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the perfect fit for you. Let's see. If Adriano's MSTE plan works out, he will look like a superstar. Oh yeah, both him and Gary. And I playfully make fun of Gary, but I always look at it this way. If I'm going to say something about somebody who's not here, it has to be something I'm willing to say absolutely to their face. And usually it's more or less playful. Because we've got that thing over here, like, if you buy, if you go into something like MSTE, we call it Gary Gilling it. And, I have no problem with him knowing that. Actually, I will tell it to his face once I can get him over here, because I do want to have him on the show. And Mayor says, I personally believe that strategy is a scam, but I respect other people's opinions. Yeah, it's interesting. Initially they were a software company, and they still have a software component to their company, but Michael Saylor recognized the potential of Bitcoin, and definitely went on. So yeah, is it a scam? I wouldn't call it a scam. I think it's a strategy. So strategy has a strategy. Will it be successful? That'll be the thing. So far, he's been very right. So, I always look at it this way, and I know there's people that believe Bitcoin's a scam, and that's fine. It's okay to believe that something is a scam, and I always like that. I like people to hear both sides. Like if I don't want to come in and say, "Oh, Bitcoin's so great, and everything is going to be great. Just get Bitcoin." I want you to hear too that people think it's a scam. That way when you do due diligence, you sort of look at it from both perspectives. Well, okay, is it this great new financial instrument, or is it a scam? So I like people to look at it from both ways. That way they can make up their own mind. Maybe as far as you're concerned, it's a scam. And that's perfectly fine. Or maybe you're in the Bitcoin maxi camp, and that's also perfectly fine. You can ban me. I can be annoying. Nah, I'm not going to ban you for giving me your opinion. MSTE could be a quick swing, though. Yes, that's kind of one of those things I like. Let's see. Paul says the bad name person probably didn't understand that if underlying stocks go down and CC cover calls, and of course the price goes down. Yeah, and that might be. I think a part of it is. I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. That's one of the reasons that I did that whole rock video, for example, because I was trying to, shed a little bit of light on the way things work. But all right, and let's see here. Asu says, I believe politics should also be kept out of the chat, including comments about leaders of countries. Yeah, we don't need, and I've already said, guys, don't call leaders names. You can bring up leaders. You can say, I don't agree with, this policy, or, I don't think this policy is good for the country. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind that. But don't actually create a sort of a slur to add to a leader's name. Like if Joe was our leader, calling him Joe Blow, that's probably going too low. So I would say don't do it. But and that's the thing. And I'm guilty of calling Trump a few things. I've never called him like a horrible name, but I've made fun of him before in the past, and I try my best not to do that. I disagree with a lot of his opinions, though, and I don't mind voicing that. And and like you guys don't feel like if you don't like something that the liberals are doing, you can say I don't like this liberal policy. Fantastic. Let's talk about the policy. Um, you know, that to me is fine. Weihable, I'm looking at MSTE because at it price and distribution rate, you can get the drip to compound for 2K. Oh, interesting. Maybe the people heavily into MSTE might get the last laugh. Maybe I'm in there for 10 shares. Actually, more than 10 shares because I've got 10 in the challenge. I've got 10 on my iPad. And my iPad, sorry, in Wealthsimple, I just turned the drip on that one. So I think now I've got like 10 point, I don't know, 10 point something. I don't think I'm getting enough for a full, probably about 10.45 maybe. Mayor says, I believe in the utility of crypto and tokenized assets. Bitcoin is worthless in my humble opinion. All right, fair enough. And you're not the only person. I mean, Charlie Munger used to very, very vocally voice that exact same opinion. So, Anise says, if Canada chooses JAS Gripen, you could add Swedish defense company SAAB. Ooh, that could be interesting. I would like that. I like the idea of the JAS Gripen. Let's see. I would like to see you get Ben Felix and Adriano in a live chat. Oh gosh. I would have to wear referee stripes. No, probably not. No, actually, I mean, Ben Felix has, he has his perspective. Adriano has his perspective, but I actually think they would be quite civil if they ever got into it on, a live stream together. Let's see. David and Goliath. Ben, he is 6'11", or actually 7 feet tall. Is he that tall? I heard he's tall. I've never really met him, so what can I say? WTI. West Texas Intermediate. Makes me want to look. I don't think they update it on the weekend, though, here. Because, yeah, they're still sitting. Oh, no, maybe they are updating it. Oh, holy banana bread. They are currently. Look at this. I said it would hit 100 by the end of the week. It might hit 100 by the end of the day. It's $98.51. Well, actually, look, guys, it did hit 100. It wicked up to 100. So there we go. Oh boy, that's that's pretty big. Pretty big. Guys. Oil. Rob says, Candace, do you believe it's the right thing to do to put everything from your paycheck immediately into your RRSP rather than your investment account? Well, it depends, Rob. I don't like putting stuff into my RRSP unless there's some certain circumstances. So I look at it this way. If my TFSA has room in it, that's where everything is going. The only time I would use my RRSP is under a few circumstances. If I had a high dividend paying US ETF or stock, yeah, the RRSP would be fantastic for it because you get that protection from the withholding tax. Or if your employer has RRSP matching, of course you want to take advantage of that because you basically get to double. You get to double what you're putting in because if they match up to, let's say they match up to $100, you throw in 100, they match 100. You've just doubled your money. So that makes sense to me as well. And the last one is if you really need that tax deferral. So if you've pushed your taxes up really high, like you had a really good year of income, then yeah, that might be a good idea because you might be able to save a lot of taxes later down the road. So yeah, but if my TFSA is empty and I don't have any of those other circumstances, I'm probably going into my TFSA for sure. Paul, if Bitcoin goes back up over 100K, could MST go from 360 to doubling? No, I don't think it would double. And part of the reason is if Bitcoin were to go back up to 100K, if it goes up there fast, you have to consider as well that with the covered calls, with the aggressive covered calls, you are going to lose some of that upside. So would it double? No, I don't think it would double at all. Would it go to $5? That might be more reasonable, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see once it happens, I think. Mayor. It says, I have a fundamental question. In the 1970s, both the US dollar and gold went up together for a decade. How is this possible, and what are we not getting today? Well, they're no longer coupled together. Back in the day, there used to be what was called the gold standard. So basically, your dollar was based on how much gold that you were holding. But Nixon, I believe it was Nixon, Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard. So now you can print as much U.S. money as you want. It's not based on anything. It's just basically, it's based on that you believe it's worth something. Kind of like Bitcoin in a way. But yeah, so they can print as much as they want, and that will devalue it. So it's no longer on the gold standard. So they're completely separate now. They can both move in opposite directions, no problems. WTI at 99. Well, right now it's not. It's at 100. Look at this, guys. WTI, $100.58. It's pumping. Oil is pumping. Oh, gosh. This makes me want to just very quickly, I'm going to go to CNN for this one just to see if there's anything that popped up, because I know Drudge will tell me that, a bunch of doom and gloom stuff. All right, let's just go to CNN quickly just to see if there's been any new development. Uh-oh. So, yeah, all right. So Khamenei's son has now been named as the new supreme leader. All right. And yeah, and everything else, everything else looks fine, but yeah, we got that happening. And I think Israel has vowed to not be very nice to this guy. So let's go back here to oil. Look at this. Oh my gosh, we're almost up to 101. We're at $100.91. Oh, it's retraced a little bit. All right, live oil on the weekend. Welcome to the oil show. Rory says, wow, Brent just went to $100. Remember SAAP used to make cars? I do. Brent 101. Oh, wow. Yeah, oil's definitely definitely happening. All right, Scott says, I started doing an account transfer to Wealthsimple and it asked me for a signature. Is it expecting me to be on a tablet? There are ways to do it. Like, I know I actually did a signature on a white paper, and then I took a picture of that, and then I basically put it, then I used, I think I used Canva. I removed the background so that it was just my signature. So you want to do it like in black ink if you're going to do that. And now I have like I have a transparent, my signature on a transparency. I can just move in and put it on any forms. Doorpat says, Ben Felix is so tall. Met him at Blossom Toronto event, and we have a picture together. I am 5'8" and look like a dwarf beside him. Let's see. There goes HOD in the morning. Avoid. Yep. Al says oil opened at 103. Oh my God, right now it's at 102. Almost 103 right now. Oh boy. Paul, I don't know how many times someone has said ETFs are safe, then they do not realize it all depends what is in the ETF. Yeah, I mean, not all ETFs are safe. I mean, I got a video on those leverage ones that are not safe. But yeah, I mean, an ETF, depending on, you have to look at what it's holding. You have to look at, what your conviction is and what it's holding. So normally, if you have an ETF that has a full basket of stocks, it's safer than if you have an ETF that only has one. So when you're looking at something like MSTE, yeah, I mean, it holds strategy. And guys, you'll find out all about that on the Tuesday video. Actually, tomorrow, the channel members will be able to watch that one. So yeah, what can I say? I don't want to spoil the video. I'm just trying to not spoil. Silver is dropping a tad. Oh, is it? Let's see here. Yeah, silver's dropping a little bit. Down 2.3. Gold's down a little bit as well. All right, interesting. I don't see any movement here on copper and platinum. I don't think they're reporting. I think the only thing that's reporting right now, gold, silver, Bitcoin, and of course oil. So oil currently up 19. Holy banana bread. Look at this, guys. $106. I was too conservative on my prediction. I was too preservative. Yeah. It's like I'm trying to preserve my prediction. No, I was too conservative on that prediction for sure. What if I have no more room in my TFSA? Then where do I put my paycheck earnings? Okay. So yeah, this is that question, Rob. So if you have no room in your TFSA, you're left with a couple of options. So and here's the thing, depending on what you're doing. So you do have your RRSP as a place to go. That's going to cause some tax deferral, but you have to be aware that everything you pull out of it will be 100% taxable. And if you have a large RRSP, when your days are done, it gets taxed at your marginal rate. So even if you've left it for somebody, a family member or such, it's going to get taxed big time. So the other option, of course, is if you have just a regular cash account. Now, the nice thing is with a regular cash account, if it's stuff you're not planning to sell, you can stack a lot there and you're only going to get taxed on the dividends. Obviously, if you do sell it somewhere down the road, you've got capital gains that you have to deal with. And, depending on the dividends, obviously, there might be some taxes in that mix as well. So it really boils down to what you want to do. Now, if you're planning to live a really long life, maybe right now going into your RRSP is not a bad idea, because then, yeah, you're going to defer some taxes now, but at least when you start to break it down when you get older, you want to try to, ideally, you would like to have nothing in your RRSP when you're finally done. But, if you only have a little bit in there, then it's not such a bad thing if it gets taxed at the marginal rate. But the one you don't want to be pulling money out of course, is that TFSA. You want to keep that nice and stacked. And if you are looking for income, that's a great way to get some good tax-free income coming out that's not going to impact any of your supports, taxes, all of that stuff. All right, let's see. Yupper ETFs are buyer beware. Yeah, know what you're buying. It's always important to know what you're buying. Michael says, banks and techs have been selling off for some reason. Let's see. Anise, yeah, I worked at SAAB, the car manufacturer, until the end, but SAAB Scania is still there and still and make great trucks. Oh, there we go. When silver was over $100 USD, no physical silver dealer was paying that paper silver. Yeah, that's the one downside. And that's the thing, like, if one of us were to win one of these coins from Wealthsimple, I can't believe I'm going back to that, but I just hope they give me the cash value for the coin. I don't want them to send me the coin. I really don't. I mean, then I have to, then I probably have to sell it to a coin person and end up taking a loss, and I don't want to do that. Just give me the financial value of the coin, Wealthsimple. That's what I say. I'm assuming I'm going to win. I'm probably not going to win, but, you could be optimistic up until that last moment when it gets, when you lose your optimism. It's like, no, I've scratched and it says no coin for you. Scott, let's see. You should go check out Parallel Wealth's videos. It's about investment planning for retirement. It has some videos on when you should add to RRSP, TFSA, non-registered, explaining the tax implementations. Yeah, Parallel Wealth has a pretty good channel. A lot of very good retirement information for sure. I mean, I touch on retirement information, but Parallel Wealth really deep dives into retirement. Trump is just going to declare victory and tackle back. I'm taking bets. Maybe. That's not outside of his character. 106, yeah, right now 106.24, 106.40. Holy banana bread. Where are the Parallel Wealth videos? If you just type in Parallel Wealth, you could even type in Adam in it as well. I think that's his name. They're on YouTube though. Just type them in, you'll have no problem. Scott says YouTube. 109. Oh, that must be Brent, because right now WTI, well, did they get up to 109? Okay, no, we didn't, but Brent might have. All right. Adore Pat says, X chip or chips, which do you prefer and why? Oh, gosh. All right. All right, we got to leave you at oil for a moment. All right. All right, let's go to X chip first. So this, of course, is our iShares semiconductor ETF. So I like this. I mean, you've got a good, you've got a really good mixture of the chips. And the chips are what make things happen, of course. So I've always been a fan of iShares. So I really do like this one. And the other one, let me pull it up here. I just need to duplicate the tab. There we go. All right, and this one is the CHPS one. Whoops, CHPS, here we go. And this one here is your Global X Artificial Intelligence Semiconductor. All right. So obviously I do like this one as well. And we were kind of mentioning earlier that this would be a good complement to Matrix, so the infrastructure one. So I do like them both. I think although I think with the XCHP, you're probably going to be, it's going to be more chip centric. But the reality is, it's kind of hard to have an AI one without it being almost chip centric at the same time. So I like them both. I think that, I mean, and if you just take a look here, they pretty much have both done the same thing. Like really, quite literally, look at this. Like it's pretty much the same. So I think either one is going to be fine. Now I like iShares a little bit just because I really like iShares. But I like Global X too, but I probably would lean towards X chip just only because it would complete, I've got like XUT, XST, XEG. It would sort of complete my set. But honestly, I think either one is perfectly fine, Dorpat. Paul, if you are working for a company for over 30 years, do not max out your RRSP. Save RRSP room for a possible lump sum payout from that employer if they offer you to voluntarily leave or retire. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, because that does happen nowadays. Mayor says, I remember the late 2010s with $120 oil. How much is that in today's dollar? It's more. I couldn't tell you exactly how much more, but I bet you it's about 130, 135 maybe. What is 106? Oil? Yep, oil. Oil prices are going to the moon. Yep, oil. If C&Q reaches $70 a share, I might have to profit on some of it. Well, it never hurts. It never hurts to profit. Yes, I know. If you are planning to live a long life. And this is how I mean, obviously we all want to live long lives, but this is kind of how I look at it. If you've got a family history where people tend to live to 90 or 100, and it happens a lot, then your odds are probably better of living to an older age. But if you have a family history where people don't make it to 70 or don't make it to 80, then your chances might not be as good. Not to say that you could still be the outlier. I mean, obviously, if you take care of yourself, lift some weights, always a good thing as you get older, then yeah, maybe. But yeah, I know if you were planning, that is kind of funny now that I look at it. Michael, the USA hit Iran hard this weekend. That Iran will be ready this week, showing a white flag that those sending oil up will be getting hurt, that we still have plenty of oil. I don't think Iran's going to just surrender. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I don't think it's going to happen. Paul, I know DocuSign saves your signature. Sign once and just tap the different parts of the form, but I have a stylus pen in the Samsung S24 Ultra. Yeah, there we go. I actually want to get, I think it's like, you get these tablets, I believe from Wacom, but I wouldn't mind getting one of those for when I do the whiteboard. Because right now I just draw with the mouse. It would be easier if I just had a tablet I could draw on. But that's a down the road wish, a down the road wish. Let's see. Physical silver is a scam. The dealers play with the premiums and price it as they wish. I'm not a big fan of physical. I prefer virtual. I don't mind, like, but yeah, I can understand. There are some people though that love their physical materials, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, if you're going to hold it for a while. Let's see. So the order where I put my paycheck money is one, TFSA, cash account, RRSP, and then investment account. What is the purpose of investment account when they call it that already? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like, to me, the investment account and the cash account, isn't that all the same thing? Like, isn't all of this inside of your investment account? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um, Ooh, Actaz got a 50,000 spin one day. Nice. Yeah. My best was 60,000, but it's good to see the others. Now, of course, the more times I hear people saying they got big spins, I'm just like, yeah, there go my odds. They keep getting smaller and smaller. But, maybe, I'd be happy if any one of us won. Any one of us. Maybe Actaz will win. Trading view is delayed. Oh, is it? Really? Even on the... let me just check here. Because normally if it's delayed, I get this. See up here where I get the D? So on this one here, I'm not seeing it. And I'm actually seeing right up to the moment movement on it. So I don't know. Right now it's showing me that it's retraced down to 102.71. Why wouldn't you want to keep a gold coin? Just curious. Well, because I don't know. I look at it this way. If I have a gold coin, I don't know. I would rather just, honestly, I'd rather just take the cash, put it into some stocks. That's just, I don't know. I think it's just also, what if it gets, what if it gets stolen? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I've never been much of a physical, I don't like to hold physical stuff. Like, the only thing I want is, like, I want to get one of them copper bars, but only because, it's done up to look like the periodic table. And I'm like, oh, that would be cool as a background thing. I haven't gotten one yet because, I still can't pull the trigger on that $30. So I'm like, I feel like I might be cheap, but I do. I mean, I run this channel at a loss. So, I just look at it this way. Like, I have to be able to justify an expense. Niece says, I will hate to refuel my car next time. I hear ya. Lisa says, parallel wealth is great. Let's see. Rob, the order depends on your income, age, and other circumstances. If unsure, find a pro for help. Yeah, absolutely. It never hurts to get some, especially a retirement planner. A retirement planner can definitely really help you out big time with that. Rory, I noticed in Europe, Germany, etc., they like their bikes. Yeah. It's actually interesting. I watched a documentary on U.S. cities and how they weren't really designed for bikes or people. They were designed for cars. But yeah, it's a lot healthier. Like, actually, one place, if you ever go to Calgary, they have bike lanes. So they have their own little bikes system. And that's actually pretty cool. They even have police that patrol the bike system on bikes. At least they used to. Maybe they don't anymore. I don't know. Scott says it's not that simple, Rob. It depends on how much you naked net, how much you make. I think it's not naked. How much you make now, because if you're, what kind of job is that if you have to be naked? Singing naked, Graham. All right. Okay, so it depends on how much you make now and how much you intend to make after retirement, whether you get a pension, how much you expect from CPP and OAS. Yeah, there's a lot of math involved in planning out your retirement, absolutely. And a lot of times you might plan it out one way and then another way and then maybe a third way just to see which one makes more financial sense or more, which one prevents you from paying the most taxes. Let's see, make now oh, it's your autocorrect. Okay. Air Canada come back by the end of this week. That's, there you go. That was my answer, Tom. It was a laugh. I don't think so. I think, like I said, last week, that we're probably into the Air Canada thing for about a month. But you never know. Sometimes Air Canada can really surprise you too. So maybe, maybe. Rory, after this pizza night and Game of Thrones. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I should get a koala pad. Nah, I don't know what's a koala pad. All right. I like to see Air Canada at 16. So Rory's hoping for it to get worse. It could. Actually, I really don't see them falling below 17, but maybe. Let's see. Rob says, I'm 59 years old now, want to retire if I work another 3 years. Okay, that's not too bad. What is the NASDAQ futures? Um, Basically, it's betting on the NASDAQ where you think it'll go. Futures is kind of it's basically it's a form of contracts, it's a form of options. You're kind of like predicting where the market's going, and that's what you're writing. So a lot of times when we look at the futures and we see if everybody's expecting the market to go up, futures will go one way. If everybody expects the market to go down, futures will go another way. And that can sometimes give you an idea of what the overall consensus is. It's not always right, though. It's not always right, but sometimes it is. Scott, you really should go to PW. This is the time when you want to start putting together a plan for retirement. So PW, Parallel Wealth. Hogan says talk oil. All right, all right. Oil, $104 right now and 55 cents. Actually, 57 cents. It's changing, but yeah. This is oil. Oil, nice big gap. We're over $100 a barrel. Let's see how this looks on the Western Canadian Select tomorrow, and hopefully we can see like CNQ. So CNQ, like as far as I know, CNQ is one of those companies that moves really close to oil. So I expect CNQ to have a good day tomorrow, for sure. Carlson says, can't play Uncle Scrooge with paper, silver, and gold. That is true. Paul says, better go fill your tank of gas before prices go up. If you own a Tesla or any EV, then you have no worries. And Rory says, it'll be too late to fill up. They'll change the gas prices late tonight. Yeah, they might be there right now. Somebody's up on the sign just changing the numbers every couple of minutes. It's like, let's see, Lloydminster, oil country might see 150. The only thing about buying oil-based ETFs, it could mean revert as fast as it went up. Fair enough. All right, fair enough, Candace. Thanks for. Okay, let's see, 145.9 right now. Coop is cheaper at the moment. All right, sorry, thanks for answering. Hit the send too soon again. No worries. Paul, highest price in my area is $189.90. Let's see, my Costco near me is $174.90. Oh. Let's see, I'm pushing PW, but there's Asante, Bellwether, and a bunch of others. I can see HOU spiking to 22 at open. Let's see, Dorpat, it's already up. I bought at 121 last weekend in Mississauga. Less than half a tank now. All right, guys, we are at the 2.5 hour mark. So if you've got your last minute questions, get them on in. And I'll get to them before we go. Moonlight, hi Candace. Sorry if you answered this already. What's your favorite silver and gold tickers and ETFs on the TSX? Well, right now, my favorite gold and silver, very easy. Those are going to be your global X ones. So we've got the GLCL, that's the leveraged one with gold. AGCC is the silver one. I'm liking both of these. So yeah, those would be my favorites. Now, there's a lot of good ones out there. Now, those ones do have covered calls. Now, they are out of the money covered calls, so you are getting a lot of the upside. Like, they're really not that aggressive with the covered calls. But if you want to go with straight growth, even things like XGD. So there's a lot of different ones out there for sure. So it's kind of one of these things, I think, that for the most part, when you're looking at a good ETF, it's probably hard to not make money with gold right now. But, of course, right now things are up and down with this war. So just be patient or look for buying opportunities. So I know I got, was it AGCC? I think I bought both AGCC and CPCC on the dip the other day for the challenge. So Prairie says my neighborhood coop is at 149.9, or the co-op. Yeah, there we go. What are 2 words you have to say? I can't say them till the end. I can't say them until the end, Scott, because if I say them, I have to end. So I can't say them yet, but I'll say, they'll be there for you at the very end. The last 2 words. Rory, for Candace, it's kapow. Or no, cow poop. Cow whoop. All right, there we go. Yeah, here's a couple more good ones. XGD, GLDX. Thank you, Candace, says Moonlight. Absolutely. All right, now, Scott. Scott, I'm calling, yeah, okay, never mind. Your name is Scott. I was like, what? It's a long day. It's a long day. A Prairie says my closest Costco is always between 0.2 and 0.12 cents cheaper on any given day. There we go. All right, guys. This has been another fantastic stream. We will be back here again tomorrow. We got a market close. If you're a channel member, you'll have the new video. That one's going to be fantastic. I gotta answer Nice here before I leave. Here we have software too. E-sign electronic document. You write your name on the screen and then click OK when you are pleased with the finger or pen writing. Yeah, it's kind of the same idea here for sure. Let's see, 144.9 pulling into town this afternoon. The last 2 words are, well, that. I can't say that until it's the last 2 words. Later, just buy the second one, never is heard. It probably isn't. It probably isn't, but I try. This is just Gas Buddy now. I know. Welcome to the Gas Show. We're watching gas go up and down, up and down. We need more gas. Fire up the beans. No. All right, guys. Whew. All right, we'll be back here again tomorrow. We'll do, we won't do this all over again, but we'll do a market close tomorrow. It'll be fun. I will see you guys all then. Until then, of course, thank you for checking out the show. And before I go, if you have not yet signed up for Blossom, oh gosh, that didn't work. Let's try this again. If you have not yet signed up for Blossom, be sure to do that. And follow me over there. All right, guys. Until next time, I do have my 2 final words of the day, and that is bye-bye.